overseas horror. Between the triangles and oceans of death and also the terrible disappearance, and between the planet of the elves that inhabit it, the throne of Satan within which he resides, the dragons and mythical creatures that possess his depths, and also the fleets and soldiers of demons and demons that control him. The ocean was and remains a silent myth about it that only magicians and sorcerers discuss, who believe that the interventions of science to clarify the phenomena of tides and also the storm of waves and therefore the rise of water level are just childish attempts that don't have any benefit with a world that contradicts all the principles and laws of logic. How many aircraft or ships didn't have an opportunity to flee and fell in areas like the Devil's Sea, the Bermuda Triangle and also the Dragon, and went and failed to return, and disappeared completely in mysterious circumstances without clear and explicit scientific analysis. And the way many stories and stories of individuals forced by fate to swim at the hours of darkness or maybe pass before the beaches at late hours and that they regretted what they'd done. And also the myth of his dwelling in non-human beings changed into a certainty of some who made them resort to him in their misfortunes, and asked for the intervention of those supernatural beings to unravel their intractable problems, nullify its actions, away from fish, shells, coral reefs and other creatures that we are aware of seeing inside the seas and on their shores. There are other invisible inhabitants that humans cannot see and follow them until after they believe them. Deep sea and scattered in several parts. Myths also mention that the dominion of the ocean was within the past a refuge for mythical supernatural beings within the Roman and Greek eras, when the good god Zeus was angry with these creatures or betrayed one and all of them and failed to implement his desire or spread terror and fear within the hearts of his human servants. He was sentenced to exile within the deep seas and his brother, the god of the ocean, Poseidon, was responding to him. Among these creatures that were angry with them since the eras of the traditional ferocious animals like lions, tigers, giant dinosaurs and large birds. Devil's Sea and also the Dragon's Triangle. The story of these who went and didn't return. Some authorities of the encompassing Asian countries recognized it as a dangerous area and warned against passing through it. Some see the planet of the seas and oceans as special, very independent, and mysterious to the best extent. What confirms this is often that there are some famous places that were and are still the topic of a mystery that we don't find a scientific explanation that satisfies us. And also the Bermuda Triangle is that the most famous of those places that have witnessed operations. There are many disappearances, whether for ships, planes, or ordinary people. But Bermuda wasn't the primary or last place to record cases of disappearance, attraction, drowning, and also the destruction of these passing by. The Ocean of Satan and also the Dragon Triangle are places where those that move out and know that they are going to not return. The Dragon Triangle is named the Formosa Triangle in traditional Chinese. It's an oversized stretch of water in Japan located within the Pacific around the Japanese island of Miyake, about 100 kilometers south of Tokyo, a locality located between Hong Kong, the Philippines, Taiwan, and Japan. It is said thousands of ships and planes disappeared in it. And therefore the first of those incidents was the sudden disappearance of the two Japanese aircraft carriers Taihu and Shikoku, while carrying an outsized number of warplanes during the war with the Philippines, and therefore the disappearance was indeed suspicious, as no trace of them was found. In 1987 the ship Carlotta began on a journey across the Dragon Triangle and suddenly it caught fire without cause while it absolutely was carrying no inflammable materials. The sailors tried to extinguish the hearth from the front, but they were surprised by the hearth suddenly burning within the stern of the ship, and also the sailors' inability to extinguish the fireplace. But the hearth went out suddenly after the ship was severely damaged, and also the ship returned to the Philippines and remains within the port after it absolutely was deformed by the hearth. And this confirmed that the region is under the control of hidden forces. There are 12 other regions characterized by this ambiguity and famous for these incidents, like the Casablanca Triangle, which is the area between town of Casablanca and also the Canary Islands, Spain, and therefore the Strait of Gibraltar. The quantity of accidents during this hypothetical triangle was monitored and located that accidents also are as high because the country also, the Devil Sea area, which is found within the Bonin Islands, specifically between Iwo and Marcos Islands. Some authorities within the surrounding Asian countries recognize that it's a dangerous area and warned against passing through it.